Hey, it's Will Ripley here. Let's break down Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin. So, right off the intro, we're going to grab this E power chord. Okay, and what actually sounds really cool here, and it's questionable if they actually did this on the recording or live, but I think you'll agree this is probably one of the biggest sounding chords out there. Okay, and so I'm just using a power chord 7, 9, and 9 going on here, but I'm strumming all 6 strings. Very resonant, powerful sounding chord. So I really like to start the song out like that. 3, 4, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3, and 4. So there's the drum fill that will always kind of initiate the actual start of the song. So we hit that one more time after the drum fill. In the days of my youth, I was... So this is a pretty tricky riff. So we hit that chord, but then we go down to our D major chord. Okay, so this shape right here. So you can see my third finger is barred across the D, G, and B strings. So I hit those first 3 strings, and then I go back to the D string, and then up to the G string again. And what you want to do is actually palm mute this chord a little bit, and that's happening with my right hand. So I've got my right hand planted on this bridge, but I just bring it forward ever so slightly to just make it sound like that instead of, okay, so I just bring that hand forward just millimeter by millimeter, just a little bit at a time until you just get that nice muffled bassy kind of sound. Okay, so that's the first part of that riff. And then here's the tricky part here is what I like to do is switch my fingerings. So I start with my second finger on the 5th fret of that A string. Okay, and we play this triad here. So we got 5th fret, 4th fret of the D, 7th fret of the D, then 4th fret of the A. But from here, it's pretty easy to remember because all you have to do is ascend 1 fret at a time. Back into the main riff.
What a tune, man. Beast of Burden. I love Keith Richards' guitar playing, and this is just a great example of how well he plays rhythm guitar. So to do this kind of just like the record, what I'm doing here is I'm taking a B triad, 7, 8, 9, and I'm putting my thumb on the 7th fret, you know, lining up with my first finger there. I play that chord, and then I take my third finger and I hammer down into the E with still the B in the bass. So it's like a B to an E over B. And then you go back to the B. Then you move this chord 2 frets higher, but you make it minor. So the way you do that is you lower this note 1 fret. And then you go, and this is kind of classic Keith Richards. And what he's doing is taking an E shape. You could either go E like this and hammer the whole thing, or sometimes you could do this A add 9 chord, which looks like this. and hammer is your third finger. So I've got, and you could even get the A string in there. Sometimes I'll just hit one note and then put the chord like that. You know, and the melody comes in.
All right, so now let's take a look at End of the Line by the Traveling Wilburys. Other than the little intro that I just played, it's a fairly easy song, and the intro is not really all that hard either. So let's get close up and take a look at what we got going on there. All right, so for this intro, we start off, if you just take the D major shape that you know, and you just move it up. So your first finger is going to be on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and your second finger is going to be on the 7th fret of the 1st string, and your third finger will be on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and then the 4th string is open. So we've got down, up, down, and then we move down to D. So we just move that shape and we move it down, so your first and second finger are on the 2nd fret, and your third finger is on the 3rd fret. So then we move back up again. We move up a whole step. So your first and second finger are on 9th fret, and your third finger is on the 10th fret. And then after you do that, you move your first finger up 1 fret, so you're on the 10th fret, and you're going to bar your first finger across the first and second string at the 10th fret. And then your second finger will be on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. So far we've got. Then we come back to the 1st fret, the 7th fret again. Or excuse me, the first chord. So your first and second finger at the 7th fret. Back to the 9-1 here. Now we come up and we bar across the 12th fret of the first 3 strings, and then back to that D shape again, but now we're at first and second finger at the 14th fret, third finger's at the 15th fret. So that second sequence is. So the whole intro.